Hello, how's everybody doing today? I hope you're doing well. It's another beautiful day in my neighborhood. I hope it's the same in yours. Today I'm going to address something just a bit different. It may seem to some of you as if I have just come out of the blue and am suddenly on the scene just sharing videos about information. And you may wonder who I am and where I have been and what I have been doing. Well, just like all of you, I have been living my life. If you peruse some of my videos that I have here on YouTube, you'll see that I have been around for quite some time. I probably started doing videos back in 2007, 2008. Although I think the earliest video that I have here on YouTube posted is about 2009 or something like that. It was an older video, a couple of older videos that I did a year or two earlier in another location and just uploaded here onto a new site. So I've been at this particular aspect of exploration for quite some time in video form, but I took some time off. You'll see there are music videos there as well because I am a spoken word poet and also a musician, and a lot of my music is spiritual in nature. So if you're interested in that type of stuff, you can check out some of those older videos. The most recent one is from 2014. I also have another YouTube page that I haven't uploaded anything to in quite some time. It's Rocket 2, RAHKYT 2. And there are some older videos there that are just like image videos with some original spoken word poetry and also some music as well. So there is that. But speaking at an even deeper level, I have been engaged consciously in energy work of this sort since about 2011. Of course, I, like many others, felt the call into 2012. And it was when I was living in Canada with my twin, Soraya, or created Indigo, that I began doing energy work directly with people. But even that was not the beginning. My path, of course, started back when I decided to come into this life and incarnate in this flesh and be this individual who I seem to be right now. My experiences have been diverse over the course of a lifetime, as I'm sure many of yours have been as well. Talking about those experiences in such an abstract context as I'm trying to do right now is a little difficult. So I think the best way to go about it is just to state that I have experienced mystical events and also what in different traditions are called enlightenment events as well, at numerous phases in my life. I have had three major Satori events that have occurred to me, beginning at the age of 12, another at the age of 19, and another at the age of 45. These events have affected my life dramatically and affected my self image as well as my expression in the world. Something that has been a consistent companion throughout my life is a type of event called sleep paralysis. Has anybody ever heard of that? Has anybody ever experienced it? It is when you are laying in your bed, minding your own business, trying to go to sleep, when all of a sudden you find that you're still awake, but your body is paralyzed. Well, for many, many years, probably from about the age of 6 or 7 onwards, I would experience this many, many, many times. And it was a fearful thing to experience because when the paralysis happens, there are different stock events that can accompany these paralysis events. One of them is called the old hag. It's when you feel this sense of presence, and the presence often feels malevolent. The presence feels like it may be sitting on your chest or observing you very closely. Some people have associated with a female presence, hence the name the old hag. There are also these dark figures called shadow figures that are associated with the event as well. And there are little figures like little gray aliens that are associated with the event as well. So that is a topic in and of itself, and we can dedicate an entire video to that at some point if anybody is interested in exploring those topics. I have a lot of experience with it, as well as an understanding of what it is designed for. For those of you who do not know and think it is something that exists in isolation and has nothing to do with anything else, and that is not true. Could not be further from the truth. In fact, sleep paralysis is a portal of sorts. I can remember being about 22, 23 years old and living in Germany, and I found a book. The book was called Journeys Out of the Body, and the author of the book is a man named Robert Monroe, who is famous for his hemisync technology. A lot of you out there know the hemisync technology now as binaural beats. Binaural beats was developed by this man, Robert Monroe, who wrote the book Journeys Out of the Body. Now, Journeys Out of the Body, for me, was a transformatory book because when I read that, there was one paragraph in there that described sleep paralysis and what I had been experiencing for my entire life in such a perfect way that I absolutely knew that he knew where I was coming from. The first one ever. I grew up in a Judeo-Christian household, and things like that weren't talked about. In fact, it was frowned upon and discouraged to talk about those types of things. If you mentioned anything of a psychic nature, that was of the devil. It was no good, right? And so it's difficult growing up in such a belief system, experiencing something that is natural to you, to be told that that is something that you should not be experiencing. You have no control over what's going on. So as a child, hearing that, you automatically begin to think of yourself as bad or something that is not the norm in that particular tradition. And it pushes you away from belonging as closely as you should. And it's nobody's fault. I mean, we've all been indoctrinated into different ways of being, and that's just the way of the world. And we spend most of our lives after being indoctrinated trying to figure out how to get out of it or how to shift it around so that it can more closely align with the way that we naturally experience the world. So Robert Monroe describes sleep paralysis in this book so perfectly. But it wasn't an end in and of itself. Sleep paralysis apparently is a portal, as I mentioned a few moments ago. It is an opening, a possible beginning of an OOBE. Now, for those of you who don't know what OOBEs are, they are out-of-body experiences. And sleep paralysis can be used in order to cycle yourself out of your body and release your astral from your physical and consciously travel the astral planes and higher. Did y'all hear that? Consciously travel the astral planes and higher. Yes, and it's all that. In this book, Journeys Out of the Body, Robert Monroe actually gives detailed instruction on numerous ways in order to effect this exit of the astral form from your physical